It's one of Africa's most imposing government complexes, a symbol of Nigerian power, perched on a 400-meter granite outcrop, and the most fortified presidential residence on the continent. But deep inside Aso Rock Villa, the president does a lot more than just manage Africa's largest economy and the most populous nation. This is where decisions affecting over 200 million Nigerians are made daily. And when you're running a country with that much complexity, keeping threats out and state secrets locked down tight is absolutely critical. Since 1991, this villa has, challenge by challenge, transformed from a simple administrative center into one of the most mysteriously protected sites in Africa. There's everything from the anti-aircraft system and the blast-proof bunkers to secret tunnels carved through solid granite, multiple security perimeters, and surveillance systems that would make any spy jealous. You've got presidential offices, residential quarters, and ceremonial spaces even above the ground, and a classified network of command centers and safe rooms buried deep within the rock itself. This place dominates Abuja's skyline, yet most of its secrets remain hidden. So, sit down, get comfortable, and prepare to be fully briefed on the incredible security of Nigeria's Aso Rock Presidential Villa. Now, before diving into the fortress-like security of Aso Rock, we need to make sure that you are properly briefed on this remarkable site. We start back in 1976, when Nigeria made the bold decision to move its capital from Lagos to Abuja. The plan? It was to build a purpose-designed capital city from scratch in the geographic center of the country. The site chosen for the presidential villa wasn't random. Aso Rock, meaning victorious in the Baji language of the area's original inhabitants. It even offered natural defensive advantages that military planners couldn't ignore. This massive granite monolith, formed over 700 million years ago, provided the perfect foundation for what would become Nigeria's ultimate seat of power. Construction began in earnest in 1989 under President Ibrahim Babangida. Unlike the organic growth of older government houses, Aso Villa was meticulously planned from day one. The complex was designed by the legendary Nigerian architect Olusegun Aje, who envisioned a blend of modern functionality with traditional Nigerian architectural elements. Using reinforced concrete, local granite, and imported materials, the villa grew to encompass more than 200 rooms that spread across multiple interconnected buildings. And unlike many government projects of that era, this one actually finished on schedule. In 1991, President Babangida became the first leader to occupy the villa. Since then, it's been home to every Nigerian head of state, from military rulers to democratically elected president. Each administration has added their own security upgrades and architectural touches. General Sani Abacha, who ruled from 1993 to 1998, was particularly security conscious, and installed the first network of underground bunkers. President Olusegun Obasanjo's civilian administration from 1999 to 2007 modernized the entire complex with digital surveillance systems and biometric access controls. The famous villa, with its distinctive green dome and Nigerian coat of arms, serves as the president's official residence. But here is where it gets interesting. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The complex includes the president's office and the vice president's residence, the council of chambers, where cabinet meeting happens, and the glass house, where state banquets are held. There's also the presidential clinic, multiple guest houses for visiting dignitaries, and administrative buildings housing thousands of staffs. But by the late 2000s, as Nigeria faced new security challenges, from terrorism to civil unrest, Aso Rock needed serious upgrades. What followed was a classified modernization program that transformed this government complex into something approaching a military installation. Multi-layered fence systems were installed, Surveillance capabilities were enhanced with Israeli technology, and entire sections were rebuilt to withstand everything from car bombs to aerial attacks. In 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari took office, he famously refused to immediately move into the villa, insisting on additional security sweeps and renovations that took months to complete. What emerged, aside technological updates, is essentially the Aso Rock villa we know today. Though no might be too strong a word for a place this secretive. Now, major decisions affecting millions of Nigerians are made at Aso Rock every single day, from economic policies to security operations. And speaking of making important decisions efficiently, that's exactly what today's sponsor helps you do. Now let's get back to Aso Rock. On one hand, Aso Rock Villa is an incredibly secure complex, full of classified operations and state secrets. On the other hand, selected areas are occasionally opened for official tours and state events. The complex sprawls across approximately 3 square kilometers, though the exact dimensions remains classified. There are reportedly over 300 rooms, including what seems like an excessive 50 bathrooms. Though when you're hosting international delegations, maybe that's just right. These are spread across the main residential villa, the office complex, and various auxiliary buildings, all connected by both above-ground corridors and allegedly underground passages. For those of you who can't secure an invitation to a state dinner, don't worry, because we're going to take you on a virtual tour right now. We're starting here at the main entrance, known as the pilot gate, where every visitor undergoes multiple security checks. Even ministers and senators don't just stroll in here. Background checks, biometric scans, and vehicle inspections are standard. Once through, you enter the 3-arm zone, the administrative art of Nigerian government. The main villa itself is an architectural statement. That distinctive green dome isn't just decorative. It's reportedly fitted with signal jamming technology and reinforced against serial threat. The residential quarters occupy the upper floors, with the first family's private apartment featuring bulletproof windows that are supposedly rated to withstand RPG attacks. Below the ground floor hosts the formal staterooms where diplomatic meetings occur. Connected by a secured corridor is the President's Office Complex. Now, this isn't your typical government building. Every room is a SCIF, a sensitive, compartmented information facility designed to prevent any form of electronic surveillance. The council chambers, where cabinet meets every Wednesday, is fitted with encrypted communication systems linking directly to military installations across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. But dig deeper, literally, and you will discover what makes Aso Rock truly unique. The granite monolith isn't just a pretty backdrop. It's been hollowed out over the decades. Multiple sources suggest that there is a command bunker carved directly into the rock's face, accessible only through biometric secured elevators. This isn't just any bunker. It's rumored to be equipped with air filtration system, independent power generation, and enough supplies to sustain the government for months. During the 2014 Ebola crisis and various security threats, key officials were reportedly relocated to these underground facilities. So, how do you secure all of this? Security at Aso Rock has evolved dramatically, especially since Nigeria's return to democracy in 1999. Back in the military era, a coup attempt in 1990 saw soldiers actually breach the old Dodan barracks in Lagos, nearly capturing then President Babangida. That's partly why the new capital's presidential complex was designed like a fortress from the start, so we would strongly advise against testing current defenses. Everything from the ground to the airspace here is under constant surveillance. Aso Rock sits within a strict no-fly zone extending 10 nautical miles in radius and up to 15,000 feet. Any aircraft entering this space without clearance will first receive radio warnings, then military jet escorts, and finally, well, let's just say the anti-aircraft batteries positioned around the complex are not for decoration. The nearest airport is Nnamdi Azikiwe International, about 40 kilometers away, and flight paths are carefully routed to avoid the villa. The infamous Boko Haram insurgency that peaked between 2011 and 2015 triggered massive security upgrades. Intelligence reports of potential attacks on Abuja led to the installation of advanced radar systems capable of detecting everything from commercial drones to incoming projectiles. There are credible reports of surface-to-air missile systems, though their exact location remain classified for obvious reasons. Back on the ground, let's start with the perimeter defenses. The outer fence. And calling it a fence is really underselling it. It consists of multiple layers. First, there's a 12-foot exterior wall, topped with electric wiring and motion sensors. Then comes a 50-meter buffer zone, monitored by thermal cameras and pressure sensors that can detect footsteps. Finally, there's an inner reinforced concrete barrier designed to stop vehicle-borne explosives. Altogether, we're talking about 15 kilometers of fortified perimeter equipped with over 500 CCTV cameras feeding into a central command center. The windows throughout the complex aren't just bulletproof, they are also blast resistant. They use multiple layers of polycarbonate and laminated glass that can withstand direct hits even from high-powered rifles. After the 2011 UN bombing building in Abuja that killed 23 people, every piece of glass in Aso Rock was reportedly upgraded to military specifications. Now, protecting Nigeria's seat of power falls to multiple security agencies, primarily the Department of State Services, the DSS, and the Presidential Guard Brigade. While the exact numbers are classified, conservative estimates suggest that over 3,000 security personnel are stationed at or around Aso Rock at any given time. The Presidential Guard Brigade alone consists of elite soldiers, specially selected from the Nigerian Army's best unit, trained in everything from close protection to counter-terrorism. Teams of snipers maintain overwatch positions from strategic points around the complex. The granite outcroppings alone provide natural vantage points that give clear field of fire across all approach routes. There is also a quick reaction force on constant standby, heavily armed units capable of responding to any threat within seconds. And yet, despite all these measures, there have been some interesting incidents over the years. In 2018, lawmakers were locked out during a political crisis. In 2020, the villa's chief of staff actually contracted COVID-19, forcing a partial lockdown of the complex. How many presidential complexes have dealt with both political drama and pandemic protocols simultaneously? This incident revealed just how seriously the villa takes even biological threats. UV sanitation systems, air purification upgrades, and medical isolation facilities were all rapidly installed. Conspiracies about Aso Rock are practically a national pastime, from rumors of mystical protections involving traditional juju to stories of spiritual disturbances that supposedly drove previous first families to seek accommodation elsewhere. The villa has accumulated quite the collection of legends, but beyond the supernatural stories, there are more grounded secrets that capture imaginations. Here is what we know for certain. There's definitely a tunnel system beneath Aso Rock. Multiple contractors who worked on various expansions have confirmed seeing tunnel entrances, though they were never allowed inside. These passages reportedly connect the main villa to the underground bunker complex and potentially extend much further. Some sources claim that there are tunnels leading all the way to the Nigerian Defense Headquarters and even to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Though that 40-kilometer distance makes such claims very questionable. Rumors also include underground connections to the National Assembly complex, the central bank headquarters, and secure military installations around Abuja. Former President Obasanjo once joked about the facilities you don't need to know about during a rare press tour, fueling speculations about the true existence of Aso Rock's underground network. So you can imagine that obtaining blueprints or confirmation is well beyond our security clearance. The water supply is also another fascinating security feature. Aso Rock has its own independent water treatment facility, completely separate from Abuja's municipal system. So every drop is tested multiple times daily for biological and chemical contaminants. The complex also maintains its own power generation capacity with multiple backup systems. We have diesel generators, solar panels, and reportedly even a small natural gas plant. So when the national grid fails, which happens more often than the officials like to admit, Aso Rock keeps humming along uninterruptedly. There is also the matter of electronic security. The entire complex operates as a massive Faraday cage in certain sections that blocks all unauthorized electromagnetic signals, so cell phones don't work in sensitive areas unless they are specially configured government devices. Wi-Fi networks are encrypted with military-grade protocols, and there are persistent rumors of Israeli-supplied cyber defense systems that protect against digital intrusions. The Presidential Fleet Maintenance Facility is also another little-known component of this complex. Hidden behind landscape berms and security barriers, this facility maintains not just the official vehicles, but also the emergency evacuation assets. The President's official Mercedes-Benz S-Class is just what you see in public. They are reportedly identical decoy vehicles and heavily armored alternatives that are ready for high-threat situations. The food security is taken just as seriously. The villa maintains its own farms and food testing laboratories, so every meal served to the first family goes through a rigorous screening procedure. There is even a dedicated team whose sole job is maintaining the chain of custody for presidential meals from the farm to the table. This is because after several African leaders faced food poisoning attempts over the decades, Nigeria decided not to take any chances. The communications system at Aso Rock represents another layer of sophisticated security. The complex houses multiple redundant communication centers capable of maintaining contact with Nigerian forces worldwide, satellite uplinks, encrypted radio networks, and adding fiber optic cables ensures that even in the event of a complete telecommunications breakdown, the government can continue functioning. So during the 2012 national protest over fuel subsidies, when some feared total civil breakdown, these systems proved their worth by maintaining command and control throughout the crisis. Aso Rock Villa is far more than just another presidential palace. It's a symbol of Nigerian sovereignty, a fortress of democracy in a region that has seen its share of instability, and a technological marvel hidden in plain sight. It has survived coup attempts, terrorist threats, and political upheavals. It's where Nigeria's complex ethnic and religious dynamics are managed, where Africa's largest economy is directed, and where decisions affecting a quarter of Africa's populations are made daily. But even with all its sophisticated defenses and classified secrets, at its heart, Aso Rock remains what it was meant to be, the home of Nigerian democracy. A place where elected leaders work, they live, and occasionally they make history. And with Nigeria's continued emergence as a continental powerhouse, who knows what future chapters could be written within these heavily fortified walls? From its granite foundations to its reinforced dome, from its public ceremonies to its classified bunkers, Aso Rock Villa stands as one of the world's most fascinating government complexes. It's a place where traditional African governance meets 21st century security technology, where natural geology provides defense advantages that no amount of engineering could replicate, and where the hopes and challenges of Africa's giants converge every single day. And that's the inside story of Nigeria's most secure building. Well, as much of the inside story as our clearance level allows. As always, if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Africa's most mysterious government facilities, make sure you're subscribed for more investigations into the world's most fascinating and fortified structures. Because every building has a story, but some buildings guard their stories behind multiple layers of classifications, reinforced concrete, and maybe just a little bit of mystery.